Tap those likes, baby. Here we go. Keep tapping those likes as you guys are coming in. Let's get it. I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains every single day, guys, and we are back today for a live stream today. Finally, August 22nd, Friday. The market pumps. Bitcoin has a major rally to the upside. Ethereum breaks all-time highs here for the first time since 2021, guys. Let's get it. If you guys are not excited, I don't know what else is going to make you excited in this market right now. So make sure you guys are smashing those likes, because we have finally had a major recovery for Ethereum, Bitcoin, and the rest of the crypto market. Now, Jerome Powell has come out and said, hey, it looks like the interest rate cut is coming in September, right? At least he gave that type of indication. That's what he's kind of hinting at here in this in that conversation that he had. And that conversation is what's sparking this major move in the market right now with Bitcoin, right? And just being able to recover as quickly as we have been is because of what is happening, was said in that meeting, allowing Bitcoin to pump. So let's go take a look at the Bitcoin chart. What happened today that could have given you that entry to go long on Bitcoin? You guys would have seen that I've been warning you guys, and I've been talking about it in the Crypto Citadel, obviously, about this August low. This August low was back, we zoom out to the 4 hour, right? This August low is, guess what? The low back on August 2nd or August 3rd when we swept this area. And right after we did that, guess what Bitcoin did? After we hit that low in August, we ran it all the way, that's right, to the all-time high of $124,550. And that low for August was $111,842. We had this marked here on the chart for the Crypto Citadel and said, hey, we got to be careful for a swing, right, for a sweep of these lows here and a massive blast off to the upside. Obviously, the risk of, if Jerome Powell would have come out and said, yeah, we're not cutting interest rates, that's not going to happen. Definitely, we had targets to the downside, right? You have to have game plans. You have to have a game plan for whichever direction it will take. Now, early this morning, Bitcoin swept this low, right? We came down here. You guys see this 15-minute candle right here. We came all the way below the August low, and we closed above the August low and above the previous day low, creating a nice sweep of the lows here, indicating a possible reversal. Now, before the meeting started, between 8:30 to around 10 a.m., right before the meeting started, Bitcoin was struggling to get above the VWAP, and it looked like it was going to potentially drop back down, right? We even came back down to as low as 111,900, but we held above that previous day low. And once that meeting started at 10 o'clock, you guys can just see this right here. First 15-minute candle at 10 o'clock, we blasted off from 112,440 all the way to $115,167 for the Bitcoins. And that just led to the major blast off. And then we kind of topped out around the 116.9 to about 117.3. Now, on the other hand, Ethereum took advantage of this momentum and the fact that the Bitcoin dominance was dropping. As you guys can see behind me, the Bitcoin dominance is down 1.14 points today, and that allowed Ethereum to also just skyrocket. Another thing to be looking at here is Ethereum, very similar setup. Obviously not the August lows, but we did sweep the daily open and the daily open and the Monday low of 42.23. We swept that area. We front ran the daily, the previous day low, and once we swept that area, we started climbing, got back up towards the VWAP at 42.82. Meeting started, and it was blast off time from 42.90 all the way to as high as a new all-time high. That's right, guys, a new all-time high. Very slight here, but the all-time high, the previous one was 48.78. We came up as high as 48.90. believe 48.90, give or take, is our new all-time high for Ethereum. And now we've had a little bit of a cool off. I mean, Ethereum deserves it. We literally went from almost the lows, right, or the complete lows here of 4,200 all the way up to a new all-time high, which is fantastic. I appreciate every single one of you guys in here tapping those likes, hitting that subscribe. So quickly here, I'm going to be jumping into the chat, start answering some questions, start saying hello to some of the people here in the chat. Good to see all of you guys in here. So let's go into the chat here real quick. Let's say hello to some people. Let's see here. Good to see all of you guys. We got a question here. Nicole says, man, I wish I saw it coming and put it long in. Yeah, man, I wish I was home longing it. Guess what? The one day I'm not home, like always, back on June 22nd, when Bitcoin had that dump to 98, I was traveling. I was literally 800 miles away from my home. I was on a road trip when it happened. I don't leave my house again for a very long time. This Friday, today, I left my house super early, had to do some family events, some family errands, some things around the house, right? Well, not around the house, but actually away from the house, family stuff. And guess what? I wasn't anywhere near my computer looking at the charts. I was trying to keep the Crypto Citadel updated with game plans of what to look out for, but I wasn't able to trade it because I was busy doing family stuff and I missed out on a massive run. But it's okay, guys, because there will always be another trade. There will always be another trade. Let's go see here. I'm in your Discord. I remember. Yeah, dude, it sucks. It sucks moving away from your computer the day you get the biggest price action ever. Sack Nasty in the house says, what's up? 14 days of pain to be recovered in 2 hours. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, Sack Nasty. You already know. Damian Smith, good to see you. Happy Friday, all. Good to see you. Good to see you. Timeless here says, what's the next Shiba Inu this 2025 bull run? Oh, who knows, man? Nobody knows what the next Shiba Inu is going to be. But please stop spamming that, or I am going to have to put you on mute, my friend. Because, yeah, that's no bueno. Let's see here. Appreciate all of you guys smashing those likes. Stocks and crypto did well today. Yeah, man. They start talking about interest rate cuts happening, and the markets get excited. They know that the easy money's coming. They know that the money printer is being turned back on, and they know when that happens, it's go time for the on-risk assets, right? And you know, the majority of crypto is still considered risk-on assets, even though Bitcoin is maturing. Things are changing for Bitcoin, potentially for Ethereum at some point as well, with all the institutional demand that we have for it. But we know as Bitcoin runs and Ethereum runs, the altcoins will follow. So it's fantastic. If we do get this interest rate cut in September, guys, Q4 is looking pretty juicy. Q4 is looking pretty juicy because right now we were down negative 2% for the returns of August, right? For the returns of August, we were down 2%. We're up 1.1% now. We're up 1.1%. We're on the 22nd. We still have a little bit under what, 10 days. We have we have 8 days or so left. 8 days in the month of August, and then we're gonna start moving up into September, and we're going to be closing August out potentially in the green. And we don't have many green Augusts. We don't have many green Augusts. Now, let's be real. Between now and the 31st, I believe, of August. Yes, August has 31 days, right? Yes, August has 31 days. Between now and the 31st, we could still pull back. We could still pull back. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about potential pullbacks. It doesn't have to happen now at the end of August. It can happen in September. We know here by this data that the grand majority of Septembers are red, right? Since 2013 all the way to 2024, every September recorded, we only had 4 green Septembers. The other 8 Septembers have been red, right? Not massively red, but red with an average around negative 3%, give or take. So how could this play out? Let's go take a look at Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin's had a major move to the upside. Fantastic. We've hit a lot of targets that were floating around here to the upside. We have regained the quarterly VWAP as of right now. We're still fighting resistance at the monthly VWAP, right? We are trying to get back above the previous week low and the weekly open. And obviously we're closing out the week here. We're going into the weekend. I do expect some type of possible weekend rally, right? Whether it's massive or not, I don't really expect a massive rally, but I can see a small rally into the weekend. as the bullish momentum continues to kick in and spread the good cheer all around. So targets to the upside that we have that are still untapped are between $117,700 to $120,000. Above $120,000, that's our last average. That's our last target that we have before running for the previous all-time high of 123,259 and then the all-time high of 124,550. So we could run it up to about 120, maybe 121, right? Hit all of our targets to the upside, leave nothing on the table, and then start pulling back down, right? Still creating a lower high here. If we zoom out to the 4-hour, right? Let's zoom out to the 4-hour. Let's turn some indicators, some stuff off here so we can read this chart a little bit better. Let me turn this off. Let me turn this off. All right, so right now, we've tapped a bunch of targets. We still have a bunch of targets left for the previous week range, right? The previous week range, we have targets between 117.7, like I said, all the way up to 120. We can rotate that entire previous week range, rotate it all the way to the upside, and guess what happens then? Dun, dun, dun! We can still make a lower high from the August high of 124, the all-time high of 124, make a lower high around the 120, 121 on the more macro scale things, create a larger downtrend, and then continue to pull back down into September, as we do expect overall September to be semi-bearish, right? As the historical data points, Septembers are usually kind of bearish, not massively bearish, but bearish, standstill. I don't remember when the FOMC meeting exactly is, but we could be dropping until that FOMC meeting happens, and then that FOMC meeting can spark up another big move to the upside. Because if we do just go pump city from now to the FOMC meeting in September, and we continue climbing higher and higher, we might have the inverse effect when we get the interest rate cut. If we just keep pumping and we make another all-time high before the interest rate cut, when the interest rate cut comes, it could be a big nothing burger. And since the market has been pumping so much already, the more the FOMO kicks in, the inverse can happen and we tank it back down. So something to be thinking about. Food, food for thought right there. I'm still holding Shiba. Let's go. Good to see you, Sack Nasty. Let's jump here into the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Is it actually a gold time? A good time? What time are you talking about? We'll cover more about altcoin season here in a second. So this is the thought process right now for Bitcoin, as we are starting to have a major recovery and major push to the upside overall for the Bitcoins, right? So just keep that in mind. Let me delete some of the stuff here. Let me jump back into the chat here and see what's going on, guys. I appreciate everybody jumping in here. Appreciate everybody hanging out on a Friday evening. Good. Let's see here. Our ETH kidding? It hit a new all-time high with $1 above the previous all-time high. What is that, man? It happens, man. It happens. What did Bitcoin do? Bitcoin went to 123 was the all-time high, and then it made a new all-time high at 124. Right, a little bit over $1,000 of a difference, and then it tanked. So it's one of those little like fake out all-time highs where it gets everybody extremely excited, and then it just tanks. Right, so it does happen a lot. I mean, Ethereum had a major recovery, guys. We can't complain about the little poopy new all-time high. This thing came down from 4,200 all the way to 4,800. Right, in a day. In a day, my friends. In one day. Major rally for such a massive altcoin. You guys don't realize that Ethereum, right? Most of you probably don't think about it, but market cap wise, Ethereum is massive. And to have such a major run like this is huge. It's a $581 billion market cap, guys. $581 billion. The one below Ethereum is XRP at $182 billion. Look at the difference in market cap between Ethereum and XRP. Extremely huge. And Ethereum had a massive run of over $500 in one day. In a matter of few hours. Right? We ran over $500 increase from $42 to $4,800 to make a new all-time high. With such a massive market cap like that. That is huge. That is a very big move overall. Let's see here. Let's continue jumping into the chat. Do you see a sell-off in September before gold time? A September sell-off is still possible, guys. Just because we've had this rally, we've had this bounce, right, doesn't mean that Bitcoin cannot drop back down. But like I said before, we can still rally, hit all of our targets here for the previous week range, all the way up to 120. Then we're pretty much left without any targets to the upside besides the all-time highs. We can create a lower high here around the 120 and then continue to fall back down to the downside. We have lots of targets below 112, right? 112 so far has been the saving grace both times in August. Back on August 3rd when we hit it for the first time, and now again on August 22nd when we swept that low, we ran it again. But if we come back down and we start to lose that August low, then we could be dropping back down to about 108 to 103. We do have targets between 108 to 103. So definitely keep that in mind that, you know, it is possible. Not saying that we will or that we absolutely have to. I'm just saying don't think it's Pump City only from now to the end of the year. There can still be pullbacks along the way, right? Still could be massive pullbacks along the way. Let's keep going into the chat here. The XRP ETF will be here by October. Don't know anything about an XRP ETF approval just yet. I do know that they're still coming out with documentation about finalizing the court case documents and how it's finally over. But I still don't see XRP moving, bro. XRP, where's XRP at? Where's XRP at? Let me see. XRP, where are you at, bro? You're up 7% today. You're up 7%. You went from 278 to 309. That's fantastic. That's great. But guess what? Ethereum outperformed you. Ethereum outperformed you, and Ethereum has not been in a suppression case for the last 5 years. You know, just my thought, just my little, you know, my little hot take right there is XRP's been in this suppression lawsuit for the last 5 years. We get documentation that it is finally over. XRP pumped 7% because Bitcoin pumped and had a major rally and pumped the entire altcoin season, you know, the entire altcoin space. That's first of all, right? If it wasn't for Bitcoin, XRP wouldn't even have moved. And Ethereum moves, and it moves 13.1% in a day when its market cap is more than double its XRP's market cap. Yet Ethereum doesn't have a 5-year lawsuit that's been suppressing its price. And it has pumped more than what this so-called XRP suppression lawsuit being over does. I don't know. I want to hear your people's thoughts about that. How does that make sense, guys? How does that make sense? It seems like the institutions are more interested in Ethereum. I don't know. Just what I'm seeing. Just what I'm seeing with my eyes. Let's jump back here into the chat. What do you think of B and other stocks with crypto as their treasury? The stocks, right? These companies that are building treasuries, this is a very interesting topic of conversation here because realistically, all these companies building treasuries, I know they're sticking to Bitcoin and some Ethereum. It could lead, right, when the bear market comes, when the pullbacks begin, if these companies are not legit and these companies are not really fully understanding and fully committed to buying the dip on Bitcoin, it could lead to a major sell-off. It could be what really like pops the next Bitcoin bubble, right? That is the topic of conversation. That is what people have brought up. Why do I say this? Well, all these companies are amassing a bunch of Bitcoin because they're seeing Bitcoin run. But if they're not really doing their due diligence and they're not really paying attention to what Bitcoin is, and they're not really fully committed to buying Bitcoin, when Bitcoin has a significant pullback, which, by the way, I have said it on record before, I do believe those 50 to 60 to 80% pullbacks are done. That ain't going to be happening anymore. I do believe that pullbacks are going to be a lot less. They're going to be 35, 40% bear market. Like, that's it. Like 40% was things that we used to get in bull markets. So that could be different. But if they're not fully aware of this and they're not ready for those type of dips, they could lead to the major sell-offs, right? They could be like, oh, Bitcoin's dumping, the bear market is here. I don't want this thing anymore. Sell, right? Which could lead to a major dump, because these are major companies, major institutions that are holding large positions, especially if they over leverage themselves by raising too much money, and then they have to get margin called, right? They don't want to get margin called. So it could lead to a sell-off. Now, I'm not saying that it will. I'm just saying we're speaking about this topic here overall. It's good for Bitcoin, for these companies to want to put Bitcoin on their treasury, the 401ks, the individual states, the potential the United States and other countries creating reserves for Bitcoin as well. It's very good for the adoption, the institutional demand, right? The spot ETFs, potentially, all this stuff, doing in-kind exchanges and doing a lot more actual activity with Bitcoin. Fantastic for the Bitcoin price in the short term. But everything comes with a price, right? And these institutions could definitely flip things around. But at the same time, for now, the trend is your friend, right? And the trend is the adoption is here. What we've been speaking about for the last 8 years, some of you guys might be very new here, might be your first bull run, right? For the last 8 years, since 2017, everybody's been talking about when mass adoption happens, when mass adoption happens, when mass adoption happens. Well, guys, if this isn't mass adoption, I don't know what is. Institutions buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin within 1 year, right? Companies buying billions of dollars and millions of dollars of Bitcoin. Countries buying Bitcoin. 401ks getting Bitcoin, right? Banks being able to operate with Bitcoin. If this isn't mass adoption, I don't know what is. I don't know what we've been waiting for the last 8 years, right? If people think that mass adoption is only when absolutely everyone is buying and paying everything with Bitcoin, that just makes no sense. That's not true massive adoption, right? That's not what is going to really spark the price. What's really going to spark the price is the institutional demand. Supply and demand, baby. Bitcoin is a deflationary asset, getting lesser and lesser supply every 4 years. Demand remains the same or increases like we've seen, and the price is going to go up. So, overall, I'm not invested in those companies that are getting exposure to Bitcoin. I know their stock price might, go up, might this and that. I'm not into that, man. I'm into holding Bitcoin. If their price is going to go up because they're buying Bitcoin and it's good for their company, imagine how good it'll be for your portfolio. Not financial advice, right? Imagine how good it'd be for you personally if you were holding Bitcoin, if you were stacking Bitcoin. Imagine how great it is for you. If it's great for these companies, why wouldn't it be great for you to directly hold and custody your own Bitcoin? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Is the bull run here, my friend? I don't know when the bull run ended. When did the bull run stop? I mean, we've been nonstop pumping since 2023. We'll look at the charts here. Let's take a good look here at the charts. We zoom out here to the weekly. We're going to zoom out to the weekly here because we got to make this fast, right? Since 2023, we have been doing nothing but going up. We have been doing nothing but going up, guys. Look at this. 2023, January. Let's get the measuring tape here. Let's get the measuring tape. So the lows for January January 2023 was January 2nd. That was the low to the end of this of 2023. We pumped 165% in the year of 2023, right? And guess what? Then we kept going up higher. 2024, right? The year of the ETFs, even bigger pump. 2025, even bigger pump. So we've literally been pumping since 2023, since January of 2023. We have been pumping. The bottom was right around December of 2022. The bottom was right around December 2022, around this $15,000 to $17,000 price Bitcoin. That was the bottom in 2022. And since then, we've been doing nothing but pumping. Obviously, there's always pullbacks along those pumps. But for the last 3 years, Bitcoin's been going up. Bitcoin's been going up for the last 3 years. So think about that for a second. Let's jump back here into the chat here. Let's see what we got. Market will go down August 25th to September 3rd. Maybe. Who knows? I hope you have a crystal ball. Somebody write that down. Write that man's statement down, because he might be having a crystal ball here and telling us the future. Might be a time traveler. You think profit taking will happen anytime soon? Well, guys, profit taking is an individual sport. Profit taking is completely up to the individual. If you don't take profits, you will go broke. That's the only people that go broke in this game. The people that do not take profits. Oh, but Crusader, I'm a long-term investor. Unless you're long-term investing into Bitcoin, everything else has a very good chance of going to zero. Now, yes, that is a blanket statement, right? We know that Ethereum going to zero, not very probable. Right? Solana, Cardano, XRP, some of these other ones, right? Going to zero, the chances of going to zero are very low. But nonetheless, their chances of going to zero are greater than Bitcoin's chances of going to zero. If Bitcoin goes to zero, every single altcoin, the entire crypto space collapses. No altcoin will exist without Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes to zero, kiss your entire portfolio goodbye. Everything is gone. Bitcoin dropped 33 or 35% in Q1 of 2025 from 109 to like 76,000. And the altcoins dropped 80 to 90% in that 3-month period. 80 to 90%, my friends. And Bitcoin only dropped like 30-something percent. Think about that. Think about that. So if you're not taking profits, which I'm not saying to go sell right now, not saying that we won't go up higher. You guys have heard me talk. I think Q4 will be very bullish. I think October is going to be very bullish, right? But if you are not taking profits, if you're not dollar cost averaging on the way out, because everybody's game plan is, I'm going to wait for this exact price point, and that's when I'm going to sell my entire bag of whatever altcoin I'm holding. If I don't hit that one price point, I ain't selling. Guys, think about the odds. Think about the odds of you could be wrong. You might not reach that price point. Are you really going to hold your whole bag all the way back down into the bear market and wait another 2-3 years to get another pump on that altcoin? If that altcoin is even still relevant by the next bull market, do you? Do you want to do that? I don't think so, right? Chainlink is up 45% on the month. 45%. We hit as high as 27.49 this month so far. It's been in a very steep uptrend. People have been buying this thing forever, way below $10. Can it go higher? Absolutely. We've got targets in the Crypto Citadel that we're looking at between 29 to as high as 53, right? Which is the all-time high. Plenty of targets. Can it go higher than 53? Yes, it can. But if you don't have a game plan to dollar cost average your bag out, right? Your profits out on the way up. If you're just greedy and just want to wait for that one exact price point, you're running a lot of risk there, man. You're running a lot of risk. But like I said, not financial advice. We're just talking here. We're just talking. Somebody said BMNR is an ETH company that Tom Lee is running. Okay, that's the Bitmine something company. Yeah, the Ethereum treasuries are very interesting. We've seen SharpLink as well, which is a crypto gaming company they're the first one that started with the Ethereum treasuries, buying Ethereum. It's very cool. It's great that Ethereum is following in Bitcoin's footsteps, right? Bitcoin got the ETF, then Ethereum got the ETF. Bitcoin got, treasuries being built on companies like with MicroStrategy, and then we got all these other companies following suit. Now we're starting to see a shift into Ethereum, right? Now Ethereum companies are buying Ethereum. So it's very good to see Ethereum do that. It's going to continue to obviously help the price up, but we need to be aware. We all have bills to pay. We all have debt to pay. We all got things to pay, guys. And you're not going to just get rich overnight. And you don't want to round trip your bags. The bull market doesn't last forever. I'm not saying the bull market is ending tomorrow. I'm not saying the bull market is ending this year. Maybe we'll pump into 2026. But if you're not taking profits along the way, if you're just holding forever, how are those bills going to get paid? How are those bills going to get paid, bro? Think about it. Think about it. Don't let the greed get to you. It's crazy how it jumped today because of Jerome Powell. Yeah, man, everybody's very scared of interest rates, right? Are we going to get the interest rate cut or not? Everyone's been talking about it, right? That's the next big catalyst event, free money, cheaper money. The easier the money is to print, the easier it is to go and put on some risk into these assets and, buy riskier assets. I took a profit of over 600K and I have over 2 million in ETH. Just make sure you have an exit plan. Let's go, Haley. Let's go. Round of applause, everybody. Round of applause. Let's go, Haley. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Game plans, my friends. Game plans. That is what helps you stay profitable in crypto. That's what we talk about in the Crypto Citadel. Even though today I could not trade, I was game planning with everyone since yesterday in our exclusive live stream in the Crypto Citadel, saying, hey, if we sweep these lows, if we sweep that August low, look for a long, right? Look for these potentials. Now, if we get some rejections, there might be some short plays. I was obviously not expecting such a major rally. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody can predict that Bitcoin's going to pump from 111 to 117 in the matter of 2 hours. Nobody can see that, no matter how great your TA is. Whoever tells you they foresaw that, come on now. Come on now. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's keep jumping here into the chat. October, November is top. Take your profits then that time comes. Hey, that was a great time to take profits last year. On November into December, after that major rally, that was the great time to buy, to sell. But guess what? A lot of people were buying. People were buying XLM after XLM had a 700% pump in 30 days, right? People were buying all these altcoins after major rallies in 30 days because people love to buy the green. People love to buy the FOMO because they feel like they're missing out. They want to buy because we're just going to keep pumping. And even though when I was telling them, like, guys, this is not a great time to buy right now. I don't buy when it's green. I buy when it's deep red. That's when I want to buy. I don't want to be buying when it's green. Oh, no, man, I bought it yesterday and I'm already up 20 more %. Okay, we'll see how long that lasts, buddy. We'll see how long that lasts. And guess what? Didn't last long. Didn't last long. So appreciate all you guys hanging out. Appreciate you guys here smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe. Make sure you guys are joining the Crypto Citadel if you haven't already. This is the last month to get 50% off your first month to try it out. How do you get 50% off? You use the code Citadel when signing up. What do you get in the Crypto Citadel besides being in a private trading community? But Crusader, I'm not a trader. Guys, even if you're buying and selling in spot, you are still a trader, my friend. You are still a trader. You're just not using leverage. The trading group is all about analyzing charts so that you know where altcoins and Bitcoin could possibly be going, right? All educational purposes only. And what are we doing there? We learn. We have a 1 full hour course explaining my entire strategy, explaining how to look at charts, how to do certain things, how to read certain indicators that are all free, by the way. So you have a full course to help you from the very beginning to learn how to use these stuff. What else do you get? Trade setups. You get daily updates. You get daily trade signals. You get exclusive live streams every single day, Monday through Thursday, for at least 1 hour, sometimes up as 2 or 3 hours in an entire day, where we also do live trading. So that's Monday through Thursday. And you get daily trade setups, long-term macro analysis for the monthlies, the quarterlies, the yearlies, all this stuff that happens every single month for altcoins and Bitcoin in general. So you guys know where things could be going for the people that are very long-term holders. So if you're not in there, definitely do so. This is your last month to get in and try it out. For questions about the Crypto Citadel, just send me a DM. I will answer your DM. I will never DM you first, but you can always DM me, and I will reply. My DMs are open. Leverage is not wise to build. Slow and steady wins the race. If you don't know what you're doing, leverage is very dangerous. Absolutely agree. Now, if you know how to use leverage, you know how to keep the greed low, right? Not be using like 50, 60x leverage. That's just wild, right? Unless you have a lot of experience. I've seen some people that have a lot of experience that are pretty good at handling that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, Bitcoin, 21x max. Ethereum, very similar. And then everything else is like 7x and lower, right? Altcoins are 7x or lower because it's just not, it's too much risk. It's too much risk to be putting so much more leverage on altcoins overall. But in general, obviously the safest is always going spot. But even to be able to dollar cost average properly, if you're just dollar cost averaging blindly, not looking at any charts, how do you know if you're buying the good dip or you're buying the first dip out of the next 50 dips, right? Look at this. And perfect example was this week. Perfect example was this week alone for Bitcoin, right? I'm going to show you guys right here what I mean by this. Let's jump out to the 4 hour. Look at this. Look at this. Since the all-time high, by the way, we shorted the all-time high in the Crypto Citadel. This was a game plan to short the all-time high, which worked out perfectly. Made over 1,000 smackaroons overnight. Woke up and my TP already been hit down at 120 and walked away with over 1,000 smackaroons. Levels like this 110, 112, 111 area, which was a very critical area, was the make it or break it. If we lose it, we dump hard. If we hold it, we're going to pump back up, right? That is where you want to be looking at to eventually start getting in to some potential buys, right? We're on some altcoins. You don't want to buy every single one of these dips on the way down. You're going to run out of capital. What if 111 wouldn't have held and would have broken down? Bitcoin would have dumped down between 108 to 103 potentially, right? Massive pullback. Altcoins would have been decimated. Do you really want to be buying large amounts up here? No, right? You don't want to be buying when Bitcoin dipped down to 118. You want to be buying when Bitcoin dips hard, right? And that's how you know. That's how you can strategically dollar cost average on spot without using leverage by reading the charts. Where do you get the charts? The Crypto Citadel. So definitely do so and join if you haven't already. Thoughts on ICP and YFI. YFI, I'm pretty sure, is Yearn Finance. That is complete not good. That yeah, not good. Not good. So I really don't like that one at all. Not getting anywhere near this thing. This thing's very heavily manipulated with a very small amount of supply. That's why the price is so high, but I wouldn't touch this thing. Now, ICP is a little different. I'm still a little upset with ICP. Obviously, it's been very, very underperforming, down 31% in the last year, which freaking sucks, right? Has great technology, terrible marketing, terrible adoption. Nobody's really using it. Nobody's really building on it. It's not tracking any traction. So that being said, I plan on selling my ICP between $10 to $15. If we can reach those targets again by the end of this year, I'm planning on selling my whole bag around that price point. I'm tired of holding ICP for multiple years now. All of 2024, it could not get above $15. Got rejected multiple times. And, just once again, if we get above $10.50 to $15, I'm dollar cost averaging out of my bag. I don't care if it pumps to $50 afterward, right? Whatever. There's plenty of other assets that I've been holding that have been performing a lot better, like our good old boy AERO. AERO up at 149, hitting 157. You guys know that I have a target around that 168 to start taking some profits on AERO. We haven't hit it just yet. Haven't had the opportunity to start taking some profits, but I will be taking profits. Can it go a lot higher? Absolutely. Will it go higher? Most likely. But I will start dollar cost averaging out of my profits at 168. That's the game plan, because that is what I'm looking at in the chart. So make sure you guys are joining the Crypto Citadel. If you don't have a game plan, go get one, because you're going to get left behind. You're going to start panicking. When the market is moving, you don't know which way to go. You don't know what targets are up, or how high can it go, where's the resistance, where's the support. You're just blindly reacting to all the chaos on social media. And, oh, this guy said we're going to 10,000 tomorrow. This other guy said we're going to 2,000 tomorrow. I don't know what to do. Do I buy? Do I sell? And that's how you end up buying tops and how you end up selling bottoms. You don't want to do that. Make sure you're joining the Crypto Citadel. Make sure you are starting to educate yourself and you're reading data. Data. That is what's going to help you as an investor to make better decisions. Let's see here. Let me see here. Any price prediction on XRP? I don't have price predictions on XRP. XRP is literally not even moving. XRP, if we go take a look at the chart here for XRP, XRP got back above $3.06. Big move from that low of 278. We still have the I'm on the 15-minute chart, no wonder. Zoom out here to the 4 hour. We still have some potential resistance here at the monthly point of control of 313. Above that, our next target is 335. Above 335, our next target is 344. We have a monthly point of control here. Yeah, we have a monthly point of control at 344, which we have not tapped, and then above that 366. Above 366, our next target is going to be 416 for the upside for good old XRP. What are your current crypto convictions for the newbie? What do you mean by that? When to sell? Isn't that the $1 million question? Everybody wants to know when to sell, when to sell, when to sell. Guys, let me tell you. Nobody knows. All you can do is gauge where Bitcoin's at, right? Realistically, I think Bitcoin can hit 150,000 by the end of this year. Is 150,000 going to be the absolute top? Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe it keeps running to 200. But you got to think to yourself, are you going to take that risk and hope for Bitcoin to pump another 50K so that your altcoins pump a little bit more? Or are you going to be taking some profits when you see Bitcoin ranging between 135 and 150? You're like, all right, time to start dollar cost averaging out, right? This is why you don't just choose one single price point. And I say I'm selling everything at that one price point because you don't know where the top exactly is, right? And you don't ever know when the bottom exactly is. This is where dollar cost averaging comes in, whether it's your trades or it's in your spot holds, right? You dollar cost average is like, hey, after this price point, I'm going to start selling X amount every week, every month, every whatever, right? Obviously, probably not every month because if you're hitting highs, you're not going to last a whole entire month at those highs. So every day or every week, we're taking X amount of profits at these price points. And then at the next price point, I'm taking another bag and another bag and another bag until you run out, right? And then you might leave a little bit and say, hey, this is the bag that I'm leaving as my moon bag. Just let it go, see how far it goes. If it goes back all the way down to, zero, it doesn't matter. I already took major profits, pulled out all my initials, and made major profits on that coin. That's how you should do it. That's not how people do it, let me tell you. Why is everything suddenly green? Well, Jerome Powell said, hey, it looks like interest rate cuts are coming in September. And that really sparked some intrigue in the markets, right? Markets like easy money. Markets like quantitative easing. They like it, and they pump the markets. You don't think AERO will reach 233 again? Yes, I do think that we're going to reach 233. I think there's a chance. There's a possibility. Anything's possible. Look how far AERO's come already. Is the top in? No, I still think Bitcoin can hit 150, potentially higher by the end of the year. Meaning AERO is probably going to pump a decent amount back towards its all-time high and above. Very possible. But, like I said, I've been buying AERO for over a year at 50 cents and lower. I will be taking some profits at 168 and start dollar cost averaging on the way up. Appreciate everybody in here. Appreciate all you guys smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe. Make sure you guys are joining the Crypto Citadel and use the code Citadel to make sure you get 50% off your first month. This is the final month. After August, you will not have this opportunity again. If you have any questions about the Crypto Citadel, definitely drop it into, just send me a DM actually. Do you think we see another dip? Very possible we get another dip, guys. Very possible, right? We talked about it earlier in the show. I'll cover here again. Bitcoin has pumped. It's reaching its previous week range. We have targets between 117.7 to 120. We have targets all the way up there that we can hit and then drop. If we drop below that, right, we start dropping after hitting 120 to 121, we're still making a lower high from the all-time high of 124, which could then slowly lead Bitcoin back down towards that 111, right? Maybe it holds again. Maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, we could be dropping down to 108, maybe as low as 103. Don't want everybody to freak out just yet. We got to take it level by level. When we were down here at 112, people were thinking that 103 was already going to happen, even just because I mentioned that. It doesn't mean that. Look what happened. Bitcoin swept the lows and it pumped up. It can happen again. It can come down to 108 and then pump, right? You never know. But they are targets. There are things to keep in your mind. But yes, a pullback is definitely possible. Don't think it's pump city only for the rest of the year all the way to the end of December. We will have pullbacks along the way. September is usually a pretty bearish month. Overall, historically, since 2013, 8 months out of the 12, 8 Septembers out of the 12 have been red. So definitely possible that we get a red September. Not very deep red, but red nonetheless. So just keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. Are you saying to all in ETH? Absolutely not. Nobody has said anything of those kinds. Do you think highs are in? No, I definitely think Bitcoin's going to make another all-time high, way closer to 150, potentially higher. My low caps are ascending, bro. Good, man. Congratulations. Let's go, bro. I like to see people make money, baby. I like to see people make the monies. Make the monies, people. Make the monies. Do you take profits into fiat or stable? Put it all into stables, baby. I only pull out what I need to pay my bills. Everything else stays in fiat, ready to go and ready to buy the dip when the dip shows up. But I don't buy just any dip. I like buying the dip. So I'm very cautious on the dips that I buy. I haven't really been buying much at all since the ending of quarter 1. April, March time was when I was buying heavy amounts of BitTens or Tau. I was buying a lot of other altcoins that, were at low lows. When are you selling? I am planning on selling, starting to dollar cost average out in quarter 4 of this year as we start to see another rally. As we start to see Bitcoin rallying above 135, going towards that 150 area, I will be dollar cost averaging. My main target, hopefully by that time, Ethereum is between $6,000 to $8,000. I will be selling some Ethereum on the way up between $6,000 and $8,000. I'm not going to wait for $10,000. Yes, we can hit 10,000. Maybe that's a possibility that we hit by the end of the year or, into quarter 1 of 2026. Maybe, but I'm not going to wait because I don't know when the top end is in. Nobody knows when the exact top's going to happen. So I'm not going to set one single price point in my head and say, if it's not 10K, I ain't selling, right? So I'm going to, between 6 to 8, I'm going to take profits, and then I'm going to leave a moon bag and let the rest ride for 10. I'm not selling my Ethereum right now, guys. Everybody calm down. I'm only going to be selling between 6 to 8 and above. What's your Ethereum projection for this month? Well, we don't have a long time left in this month. We're on the 22nd. The month ends on the 31st. We're literally like 9 days, 8 days left in the month. Yes, Ethereum just made a new all-time high. So can we make another one? Maybe. Can we pump a little bit more? Maybe. Bitcoin can still run it up to 120. Maybe ETH can hold it up and continue pushing here back towards, that $5,000 price point. I do have some targets here around 5.9 to 640 to 6.4. Some targets up here at 7.2 to 7.4 for Ethereum as like some big targets to the upside of big all-time highs. So those are some targets. But can we pump higher? Absolutely. We're at 48.37. The all-time high is currently around 48.90. So yes, we definitely can pump higher, maybe tap, 49 to potentially $5,000 and then drop again. So yeah, that definitely can happen. Now, do I think we're going to hit $6,000 before the end of August? Most likely not. Most likely not. Appreciate everybody jumping in here. Appreciate everybody smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe. Go join the Crypto Citadel if you haven't already. If you still don't know what it is, you haven't been paying attention, but you're definitely missing out. So guys, last month to get 50% off on your first month to try it out is happening now. When August is over, don't ask me for discounts. Don't say, Crusader, come on, man. I've been watching your live streams for over a year, and I like all your videos, man, and you do great content. You still got that 50% discount? Because I get the DMs all the time. Every time I run a discount, everybody's crickets. The minute I take it off, everybody wants it back. So I'm telling you now, if you don't get in, don't send me DMs asking for it later. Don't send me DMs asking for it later. Now's the time. Guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Go enjoy your Friday night. Go enjoy your weekend. The altcoins are pumping. Your portfolios are pumping. It's a good weekend, but make sure you stay safe out there. Make sure you're joining the Crypto Citadel. I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains every single day, and I'll see you in the Crypto Citadel. See ya.